All right, time to grab those backpacks because today we are deep diving into backpacking through Asia.
Oh, yeah, Asia.
That's right.
A place where you can find pretty much anything you want, I think.
Pretty much
From
anything.
amazing food to the tallest mountains in the world.
Yeah, and our listeners are really interested in this topic, and I am too, but
Absolute.
I gotta say, planning this trip feels a little overwhelming.
Sure.
Asia's huge. Where do you even begin?
Yeah, that's right. Asia is a massive continent. It's easy to get overwhelmed.
Yeah,
But a good place to start is by narrowing down your focus.
okay.
Which region speaks to you the most? Are you drawn to the bustling markets and ancient temples of Southeast Asia?
Hmm.
Or perhaps you prefer the majestic Himalayas in South Asia?
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe the modern cities and rich traditions of East Asia are more your style?
So many choices. And I just know the street food's going to be different
Oh, absolutely.
in each region.
It's going to be incredible no matter where you go.
Speaking of food,
Yeah,
let's talk about the budget.
sure.
Asia has a reputation for being pretty affordable,
Yeah.
but is that really true everywhere?
I was just
I was
that,
just reading some articles.
Yeah, it
That
depends.
made it sound like you can travel for pennies a day.
Yeah, so
Is that realistic?
it's possible to travel on an extremely tight budget in certain parts of Southeast Asia,
Okay.
like Thailand, Vietnam, and even parts of India, for example. You can find amazing street food
Yeah.
for just a couple of dollars. And if you're savvy, you can even find dorm beds for under $10 a night.
Wow. $10 a night. That's cheaper than my morning coffee.
I know, right? It's incredibly affordable.
Wow.
But keep in mind, that's on the extreme budget end.
Okay.
If you're looking for a bit more comfort, or if you plan on exploring pricier countries like Japan or Singapore,
Right.
those costs can definitely climb.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So while Asia can be incredibly budget friendly,
Yeah.
it's all about doing your research
Right.
and managing those expectations.
Okay. So Asia can be budget friendly.
Yeah.
It's all about research and managing expectations.
It's-
Gotcha.
Now, once you have a region and a budget in mind,
Yep.
the next step is to pack that backpack.
Okay.
And let me tell you, packing light for a trip like this is an art form in itself.
Packing light. I always overpack.
Sure.
I get so stressed about what to bring.
Yeah.
What if I need a fancy outfit for a temple ceremony and hiking boots for the Himalayas
Yeah.
and a swimsuit for those beaches?
I hear you, but resist that urge.
Okay.
Remember the golden rule when it comes to backpacking?
Okay.
Pack for 2 weeks, no matter how long your trip is.
2 weeks. Okay.
You got this?
Challenge accepted.
Laundry services are readily available
Okay, that's true.
in most of Asia.
That is true. What are some absolute must-haves?
Okay, so some must-haves. A lightweight rain jacket.
Okay.
Asia's weather can be unpredictable.
Yeah, that's true.
Comfortable shoes are essential, especially if you plan on exploring those bustling city streets
Right.
or venturing off the beaten path. And don't underestimate the importance of a good quality backpack. It'll be your trusted companion throughout your journey.
And it has to be comfortable, too.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, you don't want to have a sore back by like day 2.
Absolutely. And here's a pro tip for you. Don't forget a universal power adapter.
Oh, yeah.
Asia has a variety of plug types, so you don't want to arrive and realize you can't charge your phone or camera.
Oh, that's a really good point. Imagine being in a new place, ready to capture those Instagram-worthy moments,
Yeah,
and your phone's dead.
exactly.
Not the best way to start an adventure.
A little pre-trip tech check can go a long way.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Speaking of tech, once you're on the ground, what's your plan for staying connected?
That is a good question. I've heard about those local SIM cards. Are
Yeah,
those really the best way to go?
they usually are. While Google Fi or eSIMs can be convenient for some,
Okay.
local SIM cards often offer the best value,
Gotcha.
especially for data-heavy users.
Makes sense.
You can usually pick one up at the airport
Okay.
or any convenience store for a fraction of what you'd pay back home.
So ditch the roaming charges and go local.
Exactly.
Okay, got it. But navigating a foreign country can be tricky.
It can be.
What about language barriers? Do I need to become fluent in like 5 different languages before I go?
That would be impressive,
Right.
but it's definitely not necessary.
Okay.
While learning a few basic phrases is always a great idea,
Yeah.
it's not about becoming fluent. It's more about showing respect
Okay.
and a willingness to engage with the local culture. Even a simple hello and thank you
Right.
in the local language can go a long way.
Okay, so the pressure's off on the fluency.
Yes,
Just a few key phrases.
exactly.
Check.
Yeah.
Speaking of local culture, what about transportation? Should I be bracing myself for tuk-tuk rides?
Oh, yeah.
And just complete traffic chaos?
Well, those can definitely be part of the adventure.
Okay.
Public transportation in many Asian cities is not only incredibly efficient,
Okay.
but it's also dirt cheap.
Really?
Yeah, seriously.
Wow.
In places like Bangkok, you can hop on the SkyTrain and whiz across the city for less than $1.
Okay. I'm sold on the public transportation. It's cheap, it's efficient.
Yes.
And It sounds like an adventure.
It is.
Okay, now for the part I've been waiting for.
All right.
Tell me about some of those must-see spots.
All right, let's unveil some of those gems that await you.
Yes.
How about we start with a destination that's often at the top of every traveler's bucket list?
Okay, I'm ready.
How does Angkor Wat in Cambodia sound?
Angkor Wat, those breathtaking temples, right?
Yes.
I've seen pictures, but everyone says that photos don't do it justice.
They really don't. This sprawling temple complex
Yeah.
is a testament to the Khmer Empire's architectural and artistic brilliance.
Wow.
Imagine yourself wandering through those ancient ruins surrounded by intricate carvings and towering spires.
Okay, that's officially on the list.
All right.
But I need some beach time too, right?
Of course. What's a backpacking adventure without some sun and sand?
Right.
Speaking of which, how about those iconic beaches of Thailand?
Now you're talking my language. Crystal clear waters, white sand beaches,
Uh-huh.
and those long-tail boats bobbing on the turquoise sea.
Sounds like paradise, right?
It does. It sounds like paradise.
And there's a beach for everyone.
Okay,
From the vibrant party scene of Phuket to the tranquil beauty of Koh Lanta.
right.
You could even venture off to a lesser-known island
Yeah.
and discover your own secluded paradise.
All right, hold on. I need to add island hopping to my itinerary.
Yes.
This is getting exciting.
I know, right?
But I know there's so much more to Asia
Absolutely.
than just beaches and temples.
So much more.
If you're up for an unforgettable historical experience,
Yeah.
the Great Wall of China is a must-see.
Oh, absolutely.
Imagine walking along those ancient walls,
Yeah.
stretching for thousands of miles.
Incredible feat of engineering.
Wow. Talk about a walk through history.
I know.
I'm sensing a theme here. Asia is packed with these incredible historical sites.
It really is. And speaking of history and culture, how about a trip to Kyoto in Japan?
Kyoto?
Yeah, imagine scrolling through serene gardens,
Hmm.
witnessing traditional tea ceremonies, exploring ancient temples. It's a city where tranquility and beauty reign supreme,
I can practically hear the peaceful Zen garden music playing in my head.
right?
I need to up my meditation game before this trip.
Yes, you do. And for the adventure seekers out there, we can't forget about the Himalayas,
Oh, yeah.
spanning across Nepal and India.
Wow.
Imagine trekking through breathtaking mountain landscapes surrounded by towering, snow-capped peaks.
Okay, that one might require some serious training.
You might need to hit the gym a little bit.
But seriously, the Himalayas?
Yeah.
It's like a dream come true for any nature enthusiast.
It truly is. And honestly, we've only just scratched the surface.
Right.
There are countless hidden gems waiting to be discovered throughout Asia.
You've already given me so much to add to my list.
It's a lot to take in.
It is. It is.
But before we get too carried away,
Yeah.
I think I need a reality check.
Okay.
With so much to see, and how do I even begin to plan this trip
Right.
without losing my mind?
That's a great question.
It is, and it leads us to our next point, flexibility.
Flexibility.
Yeah, that's your secret weapon.
So ditch the rigid itinerary
Pretty much.
and just go with the flow.
Exactly. Backpacking is all about embracing the unexpected.
Hmm.
Don't be afraid to deviate from your plan if you stumble upon something intriguing.
Okay.
Some of the most memorable travel experiences happen when you allow yourself to wander
Yeah.
and discover those hidden gems that aren't on any tourist map.
You know, that reminds me of this one time I was backpacking through Southeast Asia a few years ago.
Uh-huh.
I was in a small town in Laos,
Yeah,
and I was ready to move on to the next destination
right?
when I met this group of locals who told me about this incredible waterfall
Oh, cool.
hidden deep in the jungle.
A hidden waterfall? That sounds awesome.
Right, and it wasn't even mentioned in my guidebook.
Wow.
So I decided to throw caution to the wind and go for it. I hired a local guide
Nice.
who trekked through the jungle for hours, and let me tell you that waterfall was worth every step.
I bet it was spectacular.
It was incredible.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Those spontaneous moments, those off-the-beaten-path adventures,
Uh-huh.
they often turn into the most cherished travel memories.
Absolutely. It's a good reminder that sometimes the best experiences are the ones we don't plan.
For sure.
But even with a flexible mindset,
Yeah.
I'm still a little nervous about navigating cultural differences.
That's totally understandable.
Yeah.
Asia is a melting pot of cultures,
Right.
each with its own unique customs and etiquette.
Yeah.
But don't let that intimidate you. A little cultural sensitivity goes a long way.
Okay, so how do I avoid committing any major faux pas?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, is there like a universal guide to Asian etiquette?
Well, there's no single guide that covers everything.
Okay.
There are some general principles that can help you navigate social interactions respectfully.
Okay, cool.
For example, in many Asian cultures, it's considered rude to point with your finger.
Oh.
Instead, you should use your whole hand to gesture.
Oh, I never knew that.
It's a small difference, but one
Yeah.
that locals will appreciate.
I'm a chronic finger pointer.
I see.
I'll have to work on that.
And while we're on the topic of hands,
Okay.
remember that physical touch is generally less common
Okay.
in many Asian cultures compared to Western cultures.
So maybe hold back to those high fives
Exactly.
and hugs.
Yeah, a simple nod or a wave.
Okay.
The traditional Thai greeting is usually more appropriate.
Okay. Got it. And when it comes to greetings,
Yeah.
what about respect for elders?
Yes, showing respect for elders is paramount
Okay.
in many Asian cultures.
That makes sense. But how do I show respect in a way that's culturally appropriate?
Well, in some cultures, like Japan,
Okay.
it's customary to bow slightly when greeting someone older than you.
Right.
In Thailand, you would perform a way with your hands clasped together in front of your chest.
Okay. I'm taking notes. Bowing way. Got it.
You got it.
Anything else I should be aware of?
One thing that often trips up travelers is this concept of saving face.
Saving face? What does that even mean?
It's about avoiding actions that might cause embarrassment or shame
Okay.
to yourself or others. For example, raising your voice or engaging in a public confrontation
Right.
is considered highly inappropriate in many Asian cultures.
So keep my cool even if things get a little frustrating.
Exactly.
Okay.
Always try to remain calm and respectful,
Got it.
even in challenging situations.
Calm, respectful, and no finger pointing.
You got it.
Check.
Is there anything else I can do to show respect for local customs?
Yeah, what about dress?
Yes, dress is another important consideration,
Okay.
especially when visiting religious sites.
Okay, so what's the dress code for temples and shrines?
Good question.
Do I need to, like, pack a full-on ball gown?
Nothing quite that dramatic.
Okay.
But in general, it's advisable to dress modestly,
Right.
which usually means covering your shoulders and knees.
Makes sense. I wouldn't want to offend anyone with my fashion choices.
Right.
What about removing shoes?
Yes, in many countries like Thailand, Japan, and India,
Okay.
it's customary to remove your shoes before entering temples, homes, and even some shops.
So comfortable slip-on shoes are a must-pack item. Got it.
Exactly. Now, shifting gears a bit,
Okay.
let's talk about something that's close to my heart.
Ooh, I'm intrigued. Lay it on me.
Responsible travel.
Okay, yes. Responsible travel is so important.
It is.
It's about minimizing our impact
Yes.
on the environment and local communities, right?
Precisely. It's about traveling consciously
Yeah.
and leaving a positive footprint, not just taking selfies and moving on.
So how can we as backpackers be more responsible travelers in Asia?
That's a great question. Well, for starters, let's talk about supporting local businesses.
Okay.
Instead of staying in those big international hotel chains,
Right.
why not opt for locally owned guest houses or homestays?
Right.
Not only will you get a more authentic cultural experience, but
Okay.
you'll also be directly supporting local families and communities.
That's a great idea. And I'm all about those authentic experiences.
Me too.
What about food? Should I be ditching the fancy restaurants
Please do.
and hitting up the street food stalls?
Yes, you know me too well.
Awesome.
Those hole-in-the-wall restaurants and street food vendors often serve up the most delicious and authentic cuisine.
For sure.
Plus, you'll get to interact with locals.
Right.
And maybe even learn a few culinary secrets.
My taste buds are already tingling. Supporting local businesses, check.
All right.
What else can we do to be more responsible travelers?
Let's talk about reducing our environmental impact.
Okay.
Single-use plastic is a major problem in many parts of Asia.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
It is.
I always try to avoid plastic whenever possible.
Me too. Carrying a reusable water bottle
Okay?
is a simple yet powerful way to reduce your plastic consumption.
Easy enough. Any other eco-friendly tips for backpackers?
Sure, transportation is another big one.
Okay.
Whenever possible, choose to walk cycle
Yeah.
or use public transportation
Okay.
instead of relying on taxis or ride-sharing services.
Makes sense. It's about being mindful of our carbon footprint
Yes.
and choosing more sustainable options.
Exactly.
What about wildlife?
Oh, yeah.
I know there are a lot of unethical animal tourism practices out there.
Unfortunately, you're right. It's crucial to avoid any activity that exploits or endangers animals,
Yeah,
such as riding elephants or visiting those so-called tiger temples.
absolutely. Those activities might seem harmless on the surface,
Yeah,
but the reality is they often involve animal cruelty.
they do. And when you're exploring national parks or other natural areas,
Yeah.
always stay on designated trails, dispose of waste properly,
Right.
and leave no trace of your presence.
It's all about respecting those natural wonders for future generations.
Exactly.
It sounds like being a responsible traveler isn't that complicated.
It's not.
It's about making conscious choices
Uh-huh.
and being mindful of our impact.
Exactly. It's about shifting our mindset
Yeah.
from being just tourists to being responsible travelers.
I love that. So we've covered a lot of ground here.
We
From
had.
embracing flexibility and navigating cultural differences to supporting local businesses and minimizing our environmental impact,
Yeah.
it's clear that backpacking through Asia is more than just ticking off destinations on a list.
It is.
It's about immersing yourself in the culture, connecting with local communities,
Uh-huh.
and leaving a positive impact.
Okay, before we jump to any conclusions,
Okay.
there's one more thing I think we should touch on.
All right, I'm all ears. What's this crucial piece of the puzzle we haven't covered yet?
We've talked about respecting local customs and being mindful travelers.
Right.
But what about those unexpected moments?
Yeah.
Those situations that might challenge our comfort zones a little bit.
You mean like when things don't go according to plan? Like missing a train or
Yeah.
getting lost in a bustling market or even just encountering a language barrier that even my best charade skills can't overcome.
Exactly. Backpacking, especially in a place as diverse as Asia,
Yeah.
is bound to throw you a few curveballs.
For sure.
So how do we handle those moments
Yeah.
without losing our cool
Right.
or worse, accidentally offending someone?
Right.
Well, first of all, a sense of humor is your best friend.
Oh, I'm all about finding the funny side of things.
Good.
Yeah.
A little laughter can go a long way in diffusing a tense situation.
Oh, absolutely.
And remember, patience is a virtue,
Okay.
especially when navigating cultural differences.
Patience, check. But what about those times when I'm feeling completely lost or out of my depth?
Don't be afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
Most locals are incredibly friendly and willing to assist,
Okay.
even if there's a language barrier.
That's reassuring to hear. I'm picturing myself in a crowded market, completely overwhelmed, and then some kind soul comes to my rescue
Exactly.
with a smile and a helpful gesture.
That's the beauty of travel.
Yeah.
These moments of human connection
Yeah.
transcend language and cultural differences. And remember, even if things go wrong,
Yeah.
it's all part of the adventure.
I love that perspective. It's about embracing the unexpected and turning those challenges into stories to tell later.
Exactly. Those mishaps often make for the best travel tales.
Oh, for sure. Speaking of stories, have you had any experiences where things went hilariously wrong
Oh, all the time.
while backpacking?
I mean, it's part of the experience, right?
Yeah.
I once got stuck in a monsoon downpour
Oh, no.
in the middle of the rice paddies in Vietnam.
Oh, wow.
No shelter in sight.
What did you do?
I just embraced it, laughed it off,
Yeah.
ended up having the most memorable conversation with a local farmer
That's awesome.
who shared his rice wine with me.
Wow. See, that's what it's all about, making those connections.
Exactly.
Even when things go wrong.
Yeah, those are the moments we remember, right?
Totally.
But,
Yeah.
even with the best preparation and a flexible mindset,
Yeah.
it's important to remember that travel
Yeah.
can be physically and mentally demanding.
Right. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement
Yeah,
and forget to take care of ourselves.
exactly. So be sure to listen to your body. Stay hydrated, get enough sleep, and don't be afraid to take a break when you need it.
Self-care on the road. Got it.
Yeah,
Speaking of self-care,
okay,
what about safety?
sure.
Are there any general safety tips you would recommend for backpackers in Asia?
Absolutely. While Asia is generally a safe place to travel,
Okay.
it's always wise to be aware of your surroundings,
Okay.
especially in crowded areas or at night.
Basic street smarts check.
Exactly, and it's always a good idea to keep your valuables close,
Right.
avoid flashing large amounts of cash, and be cautious about who you trust.
Right.
Use common sense.
Yeah.
And if you're ever unsure about something,
Yeah.
don't hesitate to ask for advice from locals
Right.
or fellow travelers.
It's like having a built-in support system wherever you go.
Exactly.
I love that.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into backpacking through Asia, I want to leave you with one final thought.
Okay. I'm ready for that final nugget of wisdom.
Backpacking through Asia is more than just a trip. It's a transformative experience.
Yeah.
It's a journey that will challenge you, inspire you,
Yeah.
and leave you with a newfound appreciation for the world's diverse cultures
Hmm.
and the incredible resilience of the human spirit.
Wow. That's beautiful said. I can already feel that sense of wanderlust calling me to explore those bustling markets,
Yeah.
ancient temples, and hidden waterfalls.
So pack your bags, embrace the unknown, and embark on the adventure of a lifetime.
I'm ready. And to anyone listening who's feeling that same pull to explore Asia, remember, this is your journey.
It is.
Make it your own.
You got it.
Savor every moment, and most importantly, have fun.
Until next time, happy travels.